Yo, what's good, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to another Tyler Perry's Sisters review. This is season 6, episode 3, entitled Fanning the Flames. If this is your first time coming to my channel, welcome. If you are a returning family member, you already know what it is and what it always will be. Be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe if you choose to. If not, just sit back, relax, and we're going to get right into this thing. So just to let you guys know, I'm not going in, probably for the remainder of this season, I'm not going to be going in periodical order. It's just going to be what pops up in my head, okay? And I hope y'all can vibe with that. So, but I am going to start off with Pam. That's the first thing that we saw. Pam showed up to the salon, which we know has been burned to a crisp. Oh, let me not say that. But anyway, it has been. It has been burnt to a crisp. She is emotional. She's concerned because she doesn't know what's going on. She sees Karen's car, but there's no Karen. So she walks up to the firefighter and, she asks, can she go in basically to assess how bad things are? The firefighter told her that she could not do that because it's a crime scene because there is a body inside the shop. So again, Pam thinks it's Karen because again, her car is outside, but there's no evidence of her. Aaron shows up and, he wants to know where Karen is because, you see that the shop has been burnt. And Aaron goes off. Okay. Aaron goes off. I was not expecting Aaron to respond the way that he did to Pam. Basically, he was telling Pam that it was her fault. She don't take her job seriously. She doesn't do what she's supposed to do. And I know a lot of people had static for Aaron. And even though I thought that he was, what he did, Pam wasn't deserving of that. However, I understood. And if you listen to the live that I did with Erica Vane last night on our Sisters Keeper that we do every Wednesday live after Sisters go off, I talked about how my mother was involved in an attempted carjacking and she was shot. And she was able to drive back to my grandmother's house. And I see her leaning over the steering wheel. I don't know if she's alive. I don't know if she's not alive. You have so many emotions going through you when you're in a tragic situation like that. And she was taking a friend of hers home. And it wasn't his fault, but I was 16 years old and he is the object or the subject of my blame. You know what I'm saying? If she wasn't taking you home, this wouldn't have happened. But, it was a lesson, I learned, and thankfully my mother survived that, but it made me, learn that, God has a plan. And sometimes we can't understand the purpose of what's happening, but there's always a bigger plan. There's always a bigger purpose than ourselves. So I understood Aaron's aggression is like, he lost the wife to suicide. This is another woman who he loves. Possibly he could have lost her too. So I can only imagine the emotional state that he was in. And I know that a lot of people think what they would do if they were placed in a situation. And truth of the matter, we don't know how we're going to react until we're actually in something. We really don't know what our first response is going to be. But I believed him. I believed Kevin played that so well. It was truly believable. And I know we talked about Angie's portrayal of Pam in that moment where I felt like like she was emotional, but it was hard for me to tap in emotionally with her because I just felt like if she wasn't finna give it 125%, then just have her in a state of shock or just have her, just disbelief. But the crying thing, to me, it kind of took away from that particular moment. That's just me. I know a lot of people was talking about, Andy was going off on Fatima, and if she did, they was going to say something to Andy. But we find out, like I said, I didn't want to give Andy too much by her telling Fatima she would never be as good as her because we know how these people love to edit these these previews, and that's exactly what happened because Andy ended up telling Fatima that she's going to be better than her as far as being a lawyer. I didn't believe Andy as far as I could throw her ass. Andy don't believe that Fatima going to be a better lawyer than her. I just don't believe that. I just don't believe it. I felt like it was just something nice to say and Andy said it. But from my perspective as an audience member, I don't see Fatima. Fatima ain't cracked open a book. She talks about wanting to be a lawyer, but I see her talk about that more than actually applying the principles to become a lawyer. So until I see that, it's just talk for me. I don't care if Zach built a desk for her to study in. What's the point of having a desk to study if you ain't got no books? If you ain't in the class? I don't know. Reach for the stars, Fatima. Um, but I don't understand that. Y'all, this episode was wild. It was just wild for me. And when I say wild, I just couldn't believe the things that was happening in this episode. I felt like we were being punked. I felt like, what is this? What are we watching? And one of the main things is there's so much story involved in Sister, so many things to tell, and it's always a miss. Those stories, the storylines, the dynamics, the conflicts really never get exposed and, to me, told the way that I think would bring more of a realistic feel to the show. That's just my opinion. Zach pops up to Fatima's job because he wants to go and see Michael before the agreed scheduled time that he made with Heather. Now, I had a problem with this because I feel like I don't really know you like that. And if me and you agreed for you to come to my house at 3:00, I don't need you popping up at 12. And that's what him and Fatima did. They agreed with themselves that even though he made plans already with Heather, they was going to show up at her house at 12:00 instead of 3. And I understand how the whole thing was very coincidental and very perfect timing for Zach and Fatima to pop up at Heather's house while Michael is outside by himself, his 3-year-old son. And I know that, and I talked about this last night as well, I know that a lot of people some people didn't like what I said about my regards of Heather and how I knew that Tyler was going to make her, out to be an unfit mother and so on and so forth for the child to be in Zach's custody. And I just felt that even if that was the plan, there could have been a better way to execute that instead of making her look like a bad mother, because it doesn't go. Like, the balance is off. She's an unfit mother. Yeah, like, it just don't make sense to me. It just doesn't make sense. I feel like Heather, it was so much, and they cramped that scene of Zach going to Heather's house within like the last minute and 15 seconds, and it was just so much to unpack, so much stuff that was revealed. We find out that Michael is nonverbal. We don't know if he's autistic. We just know he's nonverbal. Or can he talk? He just chooses not to talk. Like, we don't know those things because we just found out that information, and we were made privy to Heather's boyfriend, who, I mean, just looks worthless at this point. He looks like one of them dudes that, girls deal with because his sex is good, but he ain't really got nothing going for himself. You know what I'm saying? He kind of give me those vibes, those low vibrational, low dick energy vibes. But that's how it was. That's how it was with that situation. And we know that Zach, he's come to the knowledge that he has a child, that he is a father. And I could understand how that could be such a, I don't even know what word to use, but that is such a life-altering position to be in, that you weren't the father, you didn't know about this child. Now all of a sudden you have a responsibility to this human life. You know what I'm saying? That has to be a lot. And I do give him grace for that, because he's not going to know what to do all the time. He's not going to know really how to maneuver that. It's really going to be OJT, on the job training for him, because he didn't have a positive male figure in his life. His dad wasn't there, and we all know that Zach has a troubled childhood, that he's still processing and dealing with that trauma. And one thing we found out too that really pissed me off with this episode, and it wasn't more so the episode, it was the little line drops that Tyler did. We find out that Zach is in therapy. I said, how the hell? It was Zatima's story was ahead of Sistas. Now Sistas is ahead of Zatima. So it's like Zach and Fatima already broke up, got back together on, like, it's a lot. I would rather for Zatima, the show, not to exist, because these storylines and the timelines is so dumb. It's so dumb to me. And I have people that'll argue down in my comments about how further along Zatima is than Sisters. And I'm like, it doesn't make sense, because you can always judge it by Karen's pregnancy. She's like, whatever, I ain't even gonna go there, but I didn't like that. And I hate the fact that, great that Zach is in therapy. Okay, whoop, whoop, good for him. These women over here on Sisters need to be on somebody's couch too. And so it bothers me that Tyler has been intentional with refining or attempting to refine the character of Zach, yet he doesn't allow those same things to happen to these women. And I've always had a problem with that. I've always had an issue with how he chooses to keep them stagnant, how he chooses to keep them like second class citizens, allow them to grow and mature, not just speak it, but actually do the work to become better individuals. You can do that and they can still have the normal day-to-day drama that just accompanies with life instead of putting them in these crazy situations that they never ever deal with. Moving right along, honorable mention, because it wasn't really nothing to talk about. Hayden and Tamara, they show up they show up at the airport. Hayden is feeling himself. Hayden is about to take Tamara to Miami like for a shopping spree. He acting like he taking her to France. He act like he taking her to breakfast at Tiffany's or something. I'm like, dude, you live in Atlanta, Georgia. You're taking her to Miami, Florida. That, for one, that's a quick trip. And Hayden thought, oh, where can we go? This is first class. He thought he was going to be in a nice area of the airport and all this. I'm like, if you don't sit your ass down and wait for this flight to come, you went Tamara, too happy for me to go to Miami. Now, I'm not saying it wasn't cute and all of that, but the way he was acting, like I said, you would have thought he would take a baby girl to the south of France, and it just wasn't like that. So Aaron calls Gary. He was like, I know you have connections. He just wants to know what's going on. I need to find out some information. I need you to get to Karen's shop. You know where it is. I need you to get here. Gary dropped everything and went to Aaron. And even though I don't like Gary at all, I appreciated the fact that it's very rare that we see Aaron in the position of needing help, of needing assistance, because he's always the one to give that say, he's like the sage. He's giving this great advice. He's divvying out wisdom. He's being there. He's always a phone call away. So it was nice seeing Gary in that position simply because he was helping out Aaron. Other than that, I'm not giving Gary too much. I'm not giving Gary too much. Moving right along, we're going to get to Bayo. Jesus. Bayo and Sabrina. I said, baby, y'all know I always said that Sabrina is not the brightest crayon in the box. And it continues to be that way. It continues to be that way. So we see Sabrina like air dusting this picture frame. And I'm like, Tyler, this girl done been through hell and back. She done been to jail. They done cut out my dog braids. And you mean to tell me she just air dusting this picture frame? I need to hear her have some Erykah Badu, some Jill Scott, some Brandy, some Tupac, some Bone Thug, some Biggie. And when a black woman is in a mood, baby, and she starts to clean it, we clean. Hands and knees clean, scrubbing clean, mop water clean. I said, this is not a representation of what that's supposed to look like, but it is Sabrina, so I'm going to let it slide. So Bayo comes over, and, Sabrina is concerned that she may be fired. She may lose her job. And he tells her that he can double her money. I said, double her money how? What you mean? Because he never said, I don't remember. He never said specifically what he could do to double her money. And like I said in my review, I said, Bayo, I know you're a prince, but you're giving me scammer. You're giving me very much, let me deposit this money into your account, and I'm going to you give me $5,000, I give you $50,000. No, baby, no. You're going to be out of $5,000, Sabrina. I don't trust him. And then especially when he was like, he want to take her out to eat or whatever. No. You don't need your purse. You don't need your phone. You don't need your wallet. Just come. I said, just come. Leave my purse, my wallet, my phone, my dude. And I could have sworn Sabrina walked out the house and left everything. She was like, what about my shoes? I need to put on my shoes. Oh, no, I have people for that. I said, Sabrina, sis, what are you doing? What you doing? Bayo sexy, he's fine. But baby girl, don't let that chocolate blind you of your common sense. I need you to use it. We get to Danny. Danny's at work. She is met by Jonah's ex. She's coming up to tell Danny that Jonah has made bail. I said, who bailed him out? Because the ex made it known that Jonah always calls her when he goes to jail, which lets me know his ass is just beating women all up and through Atlanta. Who's bailing him out? And this judicial system, why is he able to assault these women and then he get out of jail? He's roaming the street to assault someone else. What is going on? Danny had a straight attitude with this woman. I understood her being upset about the connection, but at the same time, I'm like, she's trying to warn you. But I do understand, like, having that, what I appreciate, you letting me know, but I already know that. Because she wasn't telling Danny anything new. It was just their dynamic. And, the ex was really nasty to Danny during their first interaction. So maybe Danny was holding on, from that experience with her. I don't know. But I just felt like it was so many moments that could have went deeper. And it just stayed very surface level. Going back, so in the midst of that area, surface level, we see Maurice, who goes to Q's hospital room. And he basically tells Q that he's going to get somebody to kill him. And he need to count his days. And then he tries to, I don't know if he tries to guilt Q by saying, how could you do that to me? How could you do that to Sabrina? Sabrina didn't have anything to do with this. And Q told him, I'm a snake, expect to get bit. And for me, I like that he said that, because one thing I will say about Q, even though I don't like him, he has never wavered about who he is. He let it be known from the jump. He gave for pay. He do what he got to do to get what he need to get. There is no limit to what he would do. He made that known. And like I said last night during the live, Maurice was acting. I said, like, some women feel like, you know what? Oh, she can't sex him like I can. She can't do him like I can. So you begin to exalt yourself thinking that he won't do that to you when he is, and he will. Same thing happened to Maurice. You thought being good to this man was going to change. You could be good to a snake all day. You can rub him and tell him, oh, yeah, I love this color. But when the snake want to bite you, they going to bite you. Ain't got no loyalty. So I just felt like, I don't know what Maurice was doing. Why are you even there? And the reality is, I feel like Maurice was hurt by the fact that he let his guard down with Q, only to get, I guess, done wrong in the end. But it's like, it was to be expected. You already knew this, but you wanted to feel loved. You wanted to have sex. You wanted companionship. And it was all a fallacy. It was all false. And it's sad to say, but there's a lot of people out there that would rather deal with the falsehood of love and compassion and trust than being by themselves or being alone for the moment. I'd rather be by myself than welcome something that is not real into my life and pretending that it is real. Nah, we're not doing that. We are not doing that at all. So we get to Andy. Gary sends a telegram to her. This woman is singing Have You Ever by the Brandy Norwood. And I was like, what the hell is this? And like I said, if you gonna send somebody to sing Have You Ever to me, it better be Brandy herself. It better be the vocal Bible herself. I don't need no knockoff Brandy. I don't need no telegram Brandy that you could have kept that. You could have used that money and spent it someplace else. And you got this girl coming to my job. Why? So unprofessional. These are so unprofessional. Same way with Zach. Zach pops up to Fatima's job anytime he wants to. This is a law firm. You popping up, yeah, I love that girl, man, I love her. Take your ass out the building. You are a disturbance. I said, what is this? It is crazy. It is crazy. I think I talked about everybody. I think I did. This scene, this particular episode, Fanning the Flames, the build up, we did see Pam go to, I think it was, my brain right now, I'm so confused because I didn't take any notes. So I think it was the preview. If that, never mind, I'll talk about that when I do the trailer breakdown. But this was a very interesting, and I'm gonna leave it at interesting. This was a very interesting episode. So much going on that just didn't make sense. Somebody commented, throw the whole season away already after episode 3. And I was like, baby, Lord be with us. That's all I can say. Cause baby, after last night, oh my God. Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah. Somebody asked me, messaged me about what I think it would take for the show to turn around. And I honestly don't know. I know that we're getting new writers for season 7. I believe season 7 has already been filmed. They're done, I believe. I feel as though the writing's on the wall for Sistas in a sense. But the one thing I do like about Sistas is that it affords opportunity for conversation about love, about professionalism, about friendships, about loneliness. You know what I'm saying? About self-love or the lack thereof. So that's like the main takeaway I get from Sistas is that, you know, you and your man can talk about it. You and your girl can talk about it. Girls, you know, whatever type of relationship dynamic you're in, it creates opportunity for conversation. And that is the aspect I do enjoy about it. So, yeah. And I can appreciate that. I really can. So I want to thank you guys for listening. Until next time, make sure if you guys do not tune in every Wednesday at 10 p.m. on Erica Vane's YouTube channel, on Twitter Spaces, as well as IG Live. We're on there 10 p.m. every Wednesday live, talking about Sistas episode. Is really good. It's called Our Sister's Keeper, and we take deep dives into the episodes, deep dives into these relationships, the boundaries of these relationships. I'm gonna pin the latest episode that we did from last night. Again, thank you guys for listening. Thank you for your support. Another thing too, I created a Discord. I'm gonna post the link when I actually do some stuff with the page. But that's just gonna be another way for us to communicate. Is, you know, for us to for me to get more insight and more I guess just have more of a dialogue with you guys, like suggestions and, you know, things of that nature. So thank you guys again for listening, your continued support, all of that. I appreciate it. Until next time, y'all be safe out there.